in 1928. And it had slowly grown. And by that time, in the 60s, and on up in the 70s, it really grew fast. It grew from one club in Holland, Virginia in 28 to over 40,000 clubs, mostly in the southeast and a few Midwest states and a few north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
You know, that's the way it started, and that's primarily where it still is today. But it was growing, and Farragut Ruritan Club, they had chartered, I guess, in 1966.
Okay.
And we had, of course, several people in our community worked over at Oak Ridge at the laboratory, or Y12 or X10 or K25, what all was going on over at that time. And there was a man by the name of Wallace Harvey. They were down here on Simpson Road, just past the First Baptist Church. Of course, that was way before First Baptist Church was out there.
Right.
But Wallace and Lee lived out there. And Wallace worked with some of the members of the Farragut Club. And they got talking about chartering a club here. And that's the way it became, you know, it went from that, from one or two talking to 4 or 5 talking. And then at that time you had to have 16, and it was all men at that time. Had to have 16 men to sign the charter, was willing to commit the time to organize the club in the community. And that's the way that happened. And they were 20. They were 20. And I have a lapel pin that says I'm a charter member.
And you were what, only 28?
And I am the only, I still say I'm a original member. The charter stays open for 90 days.
Okay.
I joined within the first 90 days, but I wasn't there as a member on charter night. So I claim to be an original member. But I'm the only original member of that 55 years later that is still involved in Ruritan, and as far as I know, there's only one more still alive, and he lives out of state and has for years.
Okay.
And we celebrated our 55th year in October. You were there.
Right.
And we had a national president there, and anyway, I've been, the good Lord is the reason for it. He's given me the health and all. I've had 55 years of perfect attendance.
Wow.
in the Ruritan Club. So.
Well, what were the goals? I suspect the goals then are the same as now, but what are the goals of the Ruritan Club?
Well, our goodwill, fellowship, and community service was always what we use as our statement to the community. That's what we tried to create. We always just, you know, Ruritan National is a little bit different from a lot of you clubs. Now, I'm not saying we do any more, any less, or any better, or any worse, any of the rest of them. We're all working to make our communities better. And so many of them does so many different ways. But with Ruritan, we have a national office in Dublin, Virginia. We have for years, have a nice facility up there, and it's manned well. But they don't tell the local clubs the needs of our local communities. We spend our money in Loudon County, primarily. Now, sometimes we have people in our community that they have problems in the adjoining county, you know.
Sure.
We don't always do that. When Sergeant Ryan Knaus lost his life leaving Afghanistan, we made a contribution to junior OTC at Gibbs High School.
Yeah, that's good.
That boy was still active in the ROTC, even though he was in the military. He was still involved with the ROTC program at Gibbs High School. So, you know, we do things like that, but we don't have anybody that mandates what we do.
Okay.
Only thing they recommend is, you call it a mandate, requirement, everyone, you have a board of directors meeting once a month, and you have a meeting once a month, and you work for your community.
Mm-hmm. So how do y'all raise most of your funds now?
Well, we have sometimes we have pancake breakfast. We did for years. We don't do that very often anymore. Mostly as a benefit, when we need to do a benefit for somebody really in need. Primarily, but we really enjoyed pancake breakfast. But manpower sometimes can dictate what you
Sure.
do. But the flag service now, Darrell, it started in 64 or 65.
Okay.
Before we had 321 out here. Before we had Highland Park Ruritan Club.
Mm-hmm.
I was involved downtown with some people. Harry Whopper was involved in it, and some of the Mosiers, and I don't remember who all. There was 10 or 12 of us. We organized a Optimist Club.
Okay.
And the Optimist Club, really, that's where the flag service started. We just had Lenoir City, and we decided we would start to selling this service to the businesses downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, it was just downtown, and we probably sold 30, 40 flags to the businesses downtown we started at. And then I joined the Ruritan Club in '67, and they were still doing the flag service downtown. Then we opened up 321 out here. Things started to build. Optimist Club sort of folded,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave that program to the Lions Club. And the Lions Club did a good job with it for a few years. And then they really started having trouble having the manpower that could do it. So I was contacted, and we took it back, I would say, in the early 70s,
Okay.
middle 70s at the latest. We took the flag service back, and at one time we have displayed as many as 300 flags.
Wow.
And we're still doing right at 200, but we did give up some of our territory primarily from our building west out towards Eaton's Crossroad, Melton Hill, and really all those shopping centers and all. We turned that over to the East Rome County Club, where they would have a program where they'd have
Sure.
some revenue for their club. You know.
Yeah.
So we did that.
Well, for 55 years you've been in this club. What is the most satisfying part about being with such a wonderful organization?
Well, Darrell, there's so many of them. There's so many of them. I'll tell you one and I'll tell you a couple. But one of them, we bought this property out here. I guess about the middle 70s. And our intention was, when we bought it, to build a clubhouse. Well, we had Loudon County Rescue Squad, and it was down at where it is now, down at the Justice Center. Best of my recollection, it was down there. We had, for some reason, Forest Heights, Martell Estates, Martell East, in that area up in Martell area, we had a lot of calls, fires. Some structures burned plumb to the ground because they couldn't get there in time.
Yeah.
So the rescue squad wanted a fire department in that end of the county. So some of us talked to Jack Harden up there on Martell Road, and Jack leased us property, and we put our building on hold, and we built that fire department up there, big enough for 2 trucks, had a deep sink in it, had a bathroom, and had heat in it. We built that fire department there in the middle 70s, maybe 76, 77, and dedicated it and gave it to Loudon County Volunteer Rescue Squad. Jack Jack had leased us that property for 20 years, and it cost us $1. Well, of course, Jack's gone, dead and gone now. But about 23 years after that, would have been probably about 22, 23 years ago, Jack called me one Sunday night, and he reminded me that we had a 20-year lease on that property, and that it expired 2 years ago. And he wanted to know what our intentions was. And I told him, I said, Jack, our intention is to leave Loudon County Rescue Squad there if there's any way we can do it. He said, well, I'm going to try to work it out where we can. He said, do you feel like at the Ruritan Club can spare another $1 for 20 more years? So far, after about 45, 46 years, that fire department's been on Martell Road, and we've put a little over $20,000 into that building. Gerald Campbell was a contractor then, and Gerald, it was around $20,000 at that time. It cost us to put that building on that property. But other than putting that building on that property, it's cost us $2, and the Harden family's never asked us for the third one yet.
That's good. So you all, is that the where y'all started meeting?
No.
In a property around there?
No, we started meeting at Highland Park School. That's
Okay.
where we were chartered, Highland Park School.
Okay.
And we met there for 7 or 8 years. And then due to health reasons and problems in the cafeteria, we went out on 321. The ladies just couldn't do the cooking for us anymore.
Okay.
And they do require this request we have a meal with our meeting, have fellowship.
Sure.
They're like for our meeting to be an hour-and-a-half meeting, 30 minutes business, 30 minutes for meal, and 30 minutes for a program, you know, of some kind. And we went out, restaurant out there next to King's Inn, and at that time it was another restaurant across the street from it. We met at those 2 restaurants for a while, and even met sometime down on A Street upstairs over the old Moore drugstore at the old Lacey Hotel.
Really?
We met there some. We had our board of directors meeting at my furniture store. And then we built our building out here and dedicated it in 1982. So from 67 to 82, we was in Highland Park School for several years in those restaurants, and done our, like I say, our board of directors meet at the furniture store, and then we built our building.
Yeah.
And dedicated in 82.
So the turkey shoots are still going strong.
Turkey shoots, we started them about the same time we built our building. Well, I'll take that back. We started before we built the building, 4 or 5 years before, with turkey shoot, working out of the back of a pickup truck. And so that's been, what, probably, I'd say we probably started turkey shoots in the late 70s.
Golly.
And that is our main income.
Is it?
Yes, it's our main income. And we have turkey shooters to come from all the surrounding counties. And we have some that's pretty regular, come a couple of times a year as far away as Birmingham, Alabama.
Really?
And they don't have any connection to Lenoir City, but they heard about us, they came, and they've repeated over the years. They come 2 or 3 times a year. There's about 5 of them, because they say we run a fire turkey shoot, and there's not a lot of turkey shoots anymore like they used to be. You know,
how often do you have them?
Turkey shoots is like blacksmith shops. Blacksmith shops is gone too.
Yeah.
Turkey shoots is primarily gone. We, you asked me how often we have them. We start every year on the first Friday night in September.
Okay.
And we have it every Friday night, weather permitting, till the end of the year. Plus, on Thanksgiving morning, we have a gigantic shoot. We start early, have breakfast and start early, and shoot up till noon. And every bit of those proceeds goes to Highland Park Elementary School.
Really?
Where we were chartered. Then on New Year's Day, we have our last turkey shoot every year. And for years our money went to Smoky Mountain Service Dogs
Okay.
for that. And it's another big one. And now it goes to Meals on Wheels.
Okay. Okay.
So, but everything we make, whether it's turkey shoot, whether it's flags, whether it's pancakes, a raffle, or ever what, it goes back to help somebody or some way in our community. We contributed money to the all-inclusive park downtown.
Okay.
At All Access Park. We not lots of money, but I think $2,500
Mm-hmm.
for each phase of it, for both phases
Okay.
of that park. You know, we've done things like buying vests for the police department,
Mm-hmm.
cameras for the fire department. Over the years, the needs has changed.
Sure.
They used to need things they don't need today,
Mm-hmm.
but we've done a lot of things like that over the years. So you asked me some of them I could think of that really sticks with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to tell you about one more.
Okay.
We always did Christmas baskets. And now, we haven't done that for the last few years, but we do other things, feeding the people and helping them. But at this time, a few years back, we did those baskets. And there was a lady working at Highland Park School told me about two boys attended that school. And they lived way down the New Providence area.
Okay.
They lived with their daddy in a little mobile home, and their mother had abandoned them. And the kids didn't have a lot of things they needed. So some of us as individuals made sure that they had coats on their back and had decent shoes. And they didn't have to want for pencils and papers,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Now it's been several years back, and we wanted to do something for them boys for Christmas. And I called their dad. He was working at that time. And it's just him and them two boys. And I talked to their dad. I didn't want to embarrass him, but
Sure.
we wanted to do something extra for the boys for Christmas. And we did. And we got some help from even some people down the Capitol Pool Room, some good people, brought me things for them boys. And our club did. And our club, we gave them enough food to last them a while. And I took my pickup truck, and me and Ann went on Saturday before Christmas. And the back end of my truck was full. There was skateboards, there was footballs, there was basketballs, there was clothes. I don't know, there was little trucks. There was things for them boys and even things for him.
Yeah.
We took it down there, and Darrell, I pulled up and went in, and when the people came out on the porch, it was him and the two boys and a little girl. And that little girl must have been about 4 years old. And you could tell her heart was broken. We had nothing for her. And I promised her that Santa Claus would be there before the day was over. He wanted us to rush on down there with this, and he was going to have her things later. And we came to Walmart, and we got dolls, and I don't know what all, but we got clothes and we got things. And we took it back to that house, and she run out on the front porch, and we handed it to him. She started to open them. They wasn't wrapped. And I'll never forget what she said. I never seen such a smile. And she said, "Mister, is this all for me?" And the daddy told me, he said, "Day before yesterday, I heard a horn blow. And I looked out, and there's a car sitting out there at the mailbox." And he said the little girl was standing beside the mailbox with a paper bag in her hand with her clothes, and her mother and a man drove off and left her. He said, "I had no idea she was going to be here." But anyway, I'll never forget that Christmas. That is probably one of the top 3 or 4 best Christmases I ever had. One of my best Christmases was bringing Levon home on Christmas morning as a newborn baby. That is the top one.
Yeah.
But that little girl, when she said, "Mister, is this all for me?"
Mm-mm.
That was probably my second best Christmas I ever had.
So even though you intend to bless other people, those blessings a lot of times come right back.
They blessed me more than I have them. Many times more, Darrell. I've never handed a check. Blind boy, $4,500 from the golf tournament. A cancer patient, over $4,700. I've had the privilege of handing the checks to people like that. I get more of a blessed Smoky Mountain Service dogs.
Yeah.
What a job Mike Kitchens and the Smoky Mountain Service Dog has done for the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of help now through the Chris Kyle Foundation. I'm not saying they don't need the Highland Park Ruritan Club's contributions, but we maybe can direct ours in different directions now to help more.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hand them a check, and then you go over there to their church, and they have a program where they pass the lease for that dog that's been trained for 2 years. It cost them over $20,000 to train that dog, and they hand that veteran that leash, and that veteran is having help getting up and down, and got one leg or maybe an arm gone or some kind of impairment. That's a blessing.
Sure.
There's not a dry eye in that church.
I'll bet.
And mine has never been dry. So Ruritan has given Vonnie Myers a lot more in 55 years than he's ever given this community.
What a story, what a story. Well, you are a blessing to this community, and I want to thank you so much for sharing your memories and thoughts about all these different topics.
Darrell, another thing, just for a second, I told you there was 8 of us. I had one little brother died as infant. I had one sister. She was next to the oldest. If my oldest brother's living, he'd be 121.
Wow.
I had 2 brothers in World War II. I had 2 that was in during Korea. One of them was never over there. He was in Fort Knox, Kentucky in the Tank Corps. Mm-hmm. The other one made a career out of the military. And so 5 of the 6 boys that lived was military. Mm-hmm. And then I raised 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. And if you ever talk to somebody that started with so little, that's been so blessed, you probably never talked to one that's been any more blessed to have what I have accumulated. To a lot of people it wouldn't be a lot. To me it's amazing.
Yeah.
My family has never disappointed me.
Wonderful.
My community has never disappointed me. I'm fortunate.
Oh yeah.
And I appreciate so much of you coming up here on a cold winter day, sitting in my living room and taking the time out of your day to talk to an old man about what little bit he knows about Lenoir City.
Oh, it's been my honor. I mean, this is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.